ceremony has concluded here in Tallahassee, and there goes 11 back to the dugout. Time to refocus, try to pick up a sweep to close the ACC regular season here at Dick Howser Stadium and Mike Martin Field. They're going to take a second to move the podium and the tables and the awards and everything that they've had displayed here on the field. And we'll get ready for one heck of a display of baseball between two of the best and most talented programs, not just in the ACC, but also in the country. And it has been one heck of a series, Seminole and Wolfpack fans and college baseball fans. We have had two walk-off games, two very tight games between two very talented teams. And as we take a look at the series recap, we're going to go straight into game number one. It all came down to the bottom of the 11th. Stephen Wells, his 7th home run, 7 for 7 over the left field wall, and it was a 4-3 victory for Florida State in game number one. Last night, senior night, but it was a freshman who caught all the storylines. This in the 6th, trailing by 2, make it ahead by 1. A 2 RBI single for Reese Albert would bring in Drew Mendoza and Stephen Wells. But then, after a 3-2 lead in the bottom of the 6th, meet Brock Dethridge. He says, we're down to our final out, top of the 9th. No big deal. Say goodbye. Tied at 3 as J.C. Flowers could not corral the fly ball. And then Reese Albert says, hey, that's cool. Watch what I can do. And in the bottom of the 10th, Reese Albert leaving the park over the right field fence. A star perhaps born for Florida State with plenty of time to grow as a Seminole. 5 RBI last night for Reese Albert. A 6-3 victory for Florida State in game number 2. And the Seminoles clinched the series over the number 4 team in the country. A huge RPI weekend for the Seminoles, and the NC State Wolfpack will try to recollect themselves, get themselves back on track. They do not lose often. They've only lost coming into this series 3 times on the road, but they've lost twice on the road here this weekend. So there you see the hero from last night, Reese Albert, alongside another fantastic freshman in Cooper Swanson, who's wowed us at times this season. There you see Drew Mendoza as well, who came back from injury last year and really was one of the hottest bats in the clubs at the end of last season, the beginning of this season as well. And both of these teams will line up to get this game underway as we prepare for our national anthem here at Dick Howser Stadium. What a fantastic day for baseball. Energy and emotions running high here in the capital city of the Sunshine State. The celebration of Mike Martin's legendary and continuing career here at Florida State has officially concluded. And now I welcome up the second member of our broadcast team up into the broadcast booth. Chip Baker, Director of Operations, probably the hardest working man in the park today. You've had to coordinate a heck of a lot. You were down there in the dugout. What was the atmosphere like for you down there for the ceremony?
A long time coming. To a man I love, respect, and tremendous showing from the top. From the top, from the administration, the Board of Trustees, the Board of Regents, President Thrasher, everything came from the heart to everyone down there. Coach Martin meant every word he said. but let's play some baseball.
Yeah. There's a big series here, and the Seminoles are trying to pick up, I believe, their second sweep of the season, or at least in ACC play. They were able to sweep Boston College, and they would be looking for the second one. And all due respect to the Eagles, this is no Boston College. This is one of the hottest hitting clubs, not just in the ACC, but in the entire country. Has been ranked as high as second. A quick photo opportunity between Elliott Avent, Mike Martin, and our officiating crew today. David Savage will be calling the balls and strikes at the plate. David Pritchett will be at first. Frank Sylvester will be at second. And Jamie Roebuck, yesterday's home plate umpire, who's pretty banged up. He wore a few pitches all over his body. He'll be over at third. I think he should be fairly safe, aside from the occasional foul ball. He'll have to look out for that.
Well, Sean, one thing I want to mention, NC State, I told them the timeline, what was going to happen. I couldn't tell them how long the speeches were going to be. Tipped the cap to them. They were in the dugout the entire time during the whole ceremony with Coach Martin. And I said, guys, go warm up. And Coach Avent goes, no, I want a photo with Coach Martin, as they're doing right here at home plate. So that was pretty cool. Those kids will remember this. Yep. I mean, they're trying to win a ball game. Yep. They're trying to win a ball game, but they will remember this because it's a legend down there.
Absolutely. You only get so many opportunities to celebrate a legend like that. And, again, another tip of the cap to Elliott Avent. He's also not exactly a new head coach. He's got over 1,000 wins. He as well, with this NC State program, looking for their 40th win this season. It would be the 9th time he's accomplished that in his career at NC State. So, two teams and two head coaches that are familiar with winning. And Elliott Avent's going to try to go back to the drawing board and figure out a way to get his team back up to Raleigh with a win for morale and try to recover some of that lost momentum here on the road in Tallahassee. And for Florida State, they're going to be all systems go, pedal to the metal, try to ride this wave through Sunday with Cole Sands, who will be getting the start. They're going to round up the troops one last time for one final word. We'll be getting closer to getting this game underway.
You know, NC State has battled all weekend. They've swung the bats. They've hit the home runs. They had 5 errors yesterday and had a chance to win the ball game. They're only 2 swings away. 2 swings at a bat, one from Thursday night and one last night from never know what's going to happen. And they had their backs to the wall, losing the first game of 4 different series and winning the series. Now, they have a little bit inside them to try to not get swept on the road and win a ball game going into the ACC tournament.
It's going to be a lot of fun here today. It has been, I think we saved our best series for last.
Yes.
We have had a lot of fun with these walk-offs and some of the deep balls that we've seen from both of these teams. Back and forth they go. Quality pitching from Florida State starters as well. You get 7 2/3 out of Drew Parrish. You go 8 full with Andrew Karp. And now here's Cole Sands, who was originally going to be the Saturday guy for Florida State. Tyler Holton's injury, well documented. Sands moved up into Friday. He also went down with an injury for a few weeks. Biceps tendonitis was the diagnosis. Came back a couple weeks later, of course. And the junior, the local kid out of Tallahassee, Florida, now reinserting himself in the Sunday spot. This will be his 12th start with a 7-2 record, a 4.30 ERA, 60 2/3 innings of work, 22 walks, and 67 strikeouts.
Sean, I spoke to Cole Sands before the ball game. I said, Cole, I can tell you what's planned. I cannot predict what's going to happen. You may be a little late starting as far as getting the game going. Get out there and get to work. I don't think you got to have to worry about being warmed up in this weather today. You can get loose pretty quick.
And that order that Cole Sands will be facing off against is a little bit different. Josh McClain will be leading things off, followed by the hot bat of Brock Deathridge, then Will Wilson, Brett Kinnaman, Patrick Bailey, Evan Edwards, Stephen Patera, Devontae Brown getting the start as the DH today, and then JT Jarrett, the son of former Seminole Link Jarrett and UNC Greensboro head coach, rounding out the order. So warm-ups have concluded, so have the ceremonies. Let's roll up the sleeves and get to business here at Dick Howser Stadium. Cole Sands is ready to go. McClain steps into the box. And we are underway in Tallahassee. Strike one to the center fielder, McClain. McClain is a senior out of North Carolina, one of quite a few Wolfpack team members that are from North Carolina. He's behind the count 0-2.
Check swing, maybe out in front of ball, bounced about a foot in front of the batter's box. Raleigh out there all over it.
In the past, we've seen Cole Sands a little sluggish in the first inning. With this restructured order, they've got some dangerous bats early, so it'll be important for him to get off to a good start, and that is exactly what he does, picking up the strikeout against McLean.
So much for not being loose. Right there, 95 out of third for the strikeout.
That'll bring up the right fielder, Brock Depridge. Down to the final out yesterday, Brock Depridge with his second multi-home run game. The first came on the 5th of this month against William and Mary. He'll take strike one on the outside corner, the senior from Burlington, North Carolina. One of 5 gentlemen in this order that has double digits in the home run column. To be exact, he's got 14. Just a couple. He too behind the count, 0-2. And he too goes down.
Big time fastball up and away, check swing, 2 outs.
And that brings up the shortstop, Will Wilson.
Sands, like the rest of these Florida State starting pitchers, have made NC State batters expand the zone. As you mentioned, starting pitching for Florida State has been outstanding the first 2 ball games.
Quickly, Will Wilson behind the count. Fastball's working for Cole Sands out of the gate. That one fouled back. He's behind 0-2. Third straight hitter.
How dangerous this NC State team is. Last night, they hit home runs in the inning where Andrew Karp only threw 9 pitches. So you don't make a mistake because they'll make you pay for it.
Sophomore out of Kings Mountain, North Carolina. Takes a look at a fastball upstairs.
Cole Sands is doing what he hasn't done much early in the year in the first inning, is staying ahead of batters. He's been ahead of all 3 batters he's faced.
Just 7 pitches through the first 2, now 10. And pitch number 11's on the ground to Salvatore. Salvatore on the run, got him. A 1-2-3 inning on 11 pitches for Cole Sands in this Florida State defense. And once again, the Seminoles will head back to the dugout and try to hop on the scoreboard first. So after 2 relatively muggy, overcast, stormy days, we were actually delayed a half hour on Friday. The weather today, welcome to summer in Florida, 93 degrees, and that's partly cloudy. And the humidity will just sit there and stick on you. I made a little lap down there earlier, and it was not a very pleasant lap, I'll put it that way.
This weather has been with us all week, and again, very fortunate for this series that Thursday night's game was only pushed up 30 minutes. Everything else has been right on schedule. Hot in Tallahassee, hot they call it.
And a hot start for the Seminoles. Trying to match that hot start for the Seminoles will be the left-hand pitcher David Harrison getting the start today for NC State. It'll be his 8th start of the season, his 11th appearance overall. He's got a 1-2 record on the season. He's a freshman out of Rocky Mount, North Carolina. And again, his 8th start, a 1-2 record, a 6.16 ERA through 30 2/3, 18 walks, 27 strikeouts. He's given up 33 hits as well. Opponents hitting .273 off of him. A 3-pitch guy, fastball, curveball, changeup. A guy a lot like we saw yesterday in Brian Brown, not afraid to throw the off-speed any count, a lot like a Tyler Holton as well. Fastball 88 to 90, changeup 78 to 80, curveball anywhere from 78 to 80. It's an 11.5 curve, so it's not a true 12.6. But the changeup is what he will use to try to keep Florida State off balance at the plate. And speaking of Florida State, the batting order will be led off by Rafael Bornegal, the second baseman. Followed up by Jackson Luke, now the designated hitter, Rhett Applin, Cal Rowley, Drew Mendoza, Stephen Wells, J.C. Flowers back in center, Reese Albert now in left, and Mike Salvatore, the shortstop, rounding things out in the 9 spot.
The Seminole family reaches beyond this young ball club. Seminole family reaches back to 30-plus years Mike Martin's been here. There's a note on the clubhouse door on the wall downstairs.
On the ground to the second baseman, Jarrett, and Jarrett will put away Bornegal on a couple of pitches.
There's a note downstairs. There's always a saying that Coach Martin started with Coach Martin years ago. You haven't done nothing. And it's always, go back, Coach Martin says, you haven't done nothing until you sweep. You have yourself in position. You won the first 2 ball games. You have to finish it. Finish it on the 3rd day.
Seminoles had a chance to sweep Miami, but Jim Morris was able to find that answer and come away with the Game 3 victory.
How tough it is to do it anywhere in the ACC.
Year in and year out. The SEC and the ACC, 2 of the very strongest, if not the 2 very strongest conferences in college baseball. Here's Jackson Luke, the designated hitter, ahead in the count 2-0.
He hasn't hit 2-0 a whole lot in this series. They've been ahead of him.
And a line drive snagged by the third baseman, Patera.
He's the type of hitter. He gets ahead of the county, unleash a great swing just right at it. Nice job by Patera, senior third baseman.
And that'll bring up Rhett Applin. Applin leading the club in ACC batting average. .330, the only Seminole starter with an average above 300. Behind the count here, 0-1. Well hit ball into center field. Seminoles have their first base hit today off the bat of Rhett Applin.
Nice stroke by Applin, staying inside the ball, fastball middle away, just driving the ball to left center on the base for a guy who's hot as a hitter can be for Florida State.
And from Rhett Applin, Cal Raleigh will step up from the on-deck circle. One of a few switch hitters in the lineup for Florida State, a coach's kid from the state of North Carolina. And an absolute workhorse for this Florida State program. He'll start things off swinging from the right side. And his bat's been coming alive as of late. Batting average overall on the season leads the team at .328.
Oh, the balk he did not call. He just pretty much a fluid motion. Balk called. Applin at second.
First one called on Harrison all season long. So now you put Applin in scoring position. A base hit from Raleigh here could score him.
Then on the dugout, just after the Coach Martin's pregame ceremony, recognizing Coach Martin, Cal Raleigh was in the dugout, walked by me, and I grabbed him. Jeremy Salazar grabbed him. Jeremy Salazar, an All-American, played here back in the mid-90s, 3 College World Series, over 200-plus wins. He wanted to meet Cal Raleigh, and Cal was honored to meet Jeremy Salazar.
Why wouldn't you be?
Yes.
Raleigh, like Jackson Luke, ahead in the count here, 2-0. Luke would line out to the third baseman, Patera.
Rush through that. Jeremy Salazar and his recruiting class came in with J.D. Drew. Those guys in that 4-year recruiting class won 208 ball games. That's getting after it.
I was going to say, that's more than just a couple.
Yes. Jeremy Salazar, Brooks Batto, Chris Chavez in there, that group.
And that ball popped up into foul territory off the bat of Cal Raleigh. And there is Evan Edwards underneath it to retire the side and eliminate the threat with Rhett Applin in scoring position. Through 1, once again, we are scoreless in Tallahassee. See, for baseball between 2 of the top 15 programs in the country. 4th-ranked Wolfpack of NC State have already dropped the series. They're going to be playing for momentum and some pride here at Mike Martin Field at Dick Howser Stadium. And the Seminoles will be playing for a sweep and to cap off what has already been an impressive RPI weekend. But with all the momentum and everything on the line, trying to get up to Durham for the ACC tournament, something that the Seminoles are the reigning tournament champions And I mean, it just seems once again that Florida State might be onto something here right at the right time. Could be getting on a little hot streak.
A lot of games left, at least today, and a couple in the ACC.
Yep.
But Florida State jumped 2 rings last night in, quote, pseudo RPIs and strength of schedule, and then just 8th. Went from 10th to 8th with the win last night.
One of the top 8 teams determined by the seeding. Postseason will host a super regional, so the chance to host for 2 straight weekends. We'll take a second to set the defense. Albert Flowers Wells out in the outfield. Salvatore and Bornegal up the middle. Mendoza and Applin on the corners. Raleigh behind the plate. And, of course, we've already introduced you to Cole Sands. Brett Kinnaman stepping into the box for NC State. Another one of those dangerous bats. He leads the team with 16 home runs, also leads in RBI with 59. Plenty aggressive at the plate also. Second most in this order with nearly 60 strikeouts. Fastball outside corner there, just wide. It's 1-1. Slow roller to Drew Mendoza. And Mendoza makes the throw over to first. 1 down.
Not an easy play. It was a ball that went to Mendoza's right, and you had to go field. It wasn't hit that hard. You had to catch it and get your footwork going and get a quick throw because it wasn't hit hard enough to make a quick reaction play. Every play's not that tough.
And up steps Patrick Bailey. Inside fastball called strike 1. Freshman out of Greensboro, North Carolina. We've seen him start as the catcher and as the DH. Back to the catcher spot here today.
See Raleigh behind the plate trying to get that strike on that catcher for the other team. Just off the plate, just a tad down. Call it the catcher's union, maybe.
I was going to say, catcher's union, right?
Cole Sands with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and he came back right there with a good changeup. A lot of movement. Runs away from a left-handed batter.
So once again, another Wolfpack hitter behind the count. It's 1-2 to Patrick Bailey. Down he goes. Another changeup from Cole Sands.
You have to mix speed. You have to make these great hitters of NC State expand their zone. Key to hitting's timing. Key to that pitcher's job is to mess up the hitter's timing. 10, 12, 15 miles an hour between the fastball and the changeup. Right. It's a good mix.
Sands again working inside. First pitch. This time it's Evan Edwards, a junior from Greensboro, North Carolina. First baseman who snagged the foul out off the bat of Cal Raleigh to eliminate the threat in the bottom of the first with Rhett Applin in scoring position off a base hit in the balk by David Harrison. 1-1 the count now to Edwards. Well hit ball out to right field. Evan Edwards. See you later.
Gets the first pitch in and came in back middle in. Got it ball up, and Edwards made him pay. 13th home run.
The stretch from 2 through 6 in the order for NC State, all double-digit home runs, and as you mentioned, Chip, there's another one for the first baseman, Evan Edwards.
Got it right in his wheelhouse. He made him pay.
Fastball away from the third baseman, Stephen Patera, called strike 1. Senior out of Cary, North Carolina, takes ball 1. Patera just 3 points below 300, a 297 batting average. Out ahead of it and foul. Look out in the Florida State dugout and our camera well as well.
That was the 7th home run Cole Sands has given up this year. That was the 7th home run Cole Sands has given up this year in ACC play.
It's a little tougher in ACC play, huh?
Oh, yeah, all the SEC hitters can hit it.
That ball peeling foul and off the tarp. Nice work there from the back girl. It's like she's seen a
yeah.
foul ball peel over there a
Experienced.
time or two. She knew exactly where to play the carom.
Experienced.
So once again, another Wolfpack hitter behind the count. It's 1-2 to the third baseman, Patera.
Good movement. Two-seam fastball, has a lot of run. That's one thing he's developed this year. Get on top and let that ball run away from a left-handed batter.
That one there clocking in at 97. Down he goes. It's been a pretty good day for Cole Sands. But he hit Evan Edwards' wheelhouse, and Evan Edwards made him pay. It's 1-0 NC State here in Tallahassee. Back here at Dick Hauser Stadium as we head to the bottom of the second inning. The 12th-ranked Seminoles picked up a hit in the first inning, but NC State picked up a big one. Top of the second, a home run from Evan Edwards gives the Wolfpack a 1-0 lead. We'll take a second to set the NC State defense. Brett Kinnaman out in left, McLean in center, Deathridge in right. Up the middle, it's Wilson at short, Jarrett at second. On the corners, Patera at third, Edwards at first. We have introduced you to Harrison already, and Patrick Bailey will be the catcher behind the plate. So in steps Drew Mendoza showing bunt and taking ball one.
NC State's defense playing very deep in the infield while he showed bunt. Patier at third base, back, but he's coming in a couple steps.
Swing there, and it's going to fly foul.
Drew Mendoza at the plate, another foul ball. Fouls a bunch of baseballs off.
He's a man of the people. He's trying to give all those kids souvenirs. Here's the 1-1.
Stay tall, let it where it hit it. Curveball. Okay, fastball, but that's a breaking ball. Leadoff hitter. Just your reaction is to turn away from the ball when it's thrown at you.
Tell you what, that's pretty flexible. See, there's a reason why he does yoga.
Lucky that ball did not hit the bat. Get that strike two.
Here's Jarrett, and he'll put away Mendoza. Nice round of applause for Stephen Wells on this senior weekend, the last weekend of the regular season. He's had a heck of a senior season, capped, at least to this point, by the home run on Thursday night.
Good portion of the crowd that probably applauded there from Key West. A lot of
True.
family in town.
True.
Shout out to all the family and friends in Key West that did not make the trip. That are tuned in.
They were. Nice play there by Patera. Tough throw in time.
Leaving his feet and making a play there, and Patera, the senior third baseman, took away a sure double off of Wells' bat.
And that'll bring up J.C. Flowers. It's a big confidence boost for David Harrison if he can work a 1-2-3 inning here.
Good animals singing happy birthday to J.C. Flowers, birthday number 20.
There's another pitch that makes its way to the backstop. But yes, happy Flowers. Happy birthday, happy Flowers. Happy birthday to the sophomore from Orange Park, Florida. Although, yes, Flowers are indeed happy in their own right. 3-0 the count to Flowers. Fastball upstairs.
Guess what? Happy birthday, and that's your...
There you go. Exactly. There's your 4-pitch walk.
Here's your gift.
See if the Seminoles can cash in that gift.
Listen to this ovation with this young man. Walk-off home run, 0-2 pitch.
0-2 pitch.
Last night, hit it deep into the night, right field. 3-run homer, walk-off.
Off of Johnny Piedmont. David Harrison respecting the speed of J.C. Flowers. All you had to do was watch him track down just about anything that sniffed center field yesterday to realize if he wants to steal a base, he's got plenty of speed to do so.
Flowers in his limited playing time, we talked about he's been injured, broke the jaw back in middle of March. Only 2 for 2 on the year in stolen bases. But he patrols left center to right center in the outfield with good as anybody in baseball.
That ball swung on and driven into left field, but he did not catch enough of it, and that's going to land in the glove of Brett Kinnaman. So a 1-2-3 inning for David Harrison and the Wolfpack, Flowers would walk, but still pretty quick work outside of that. 1-0 State. From the folks at Louisville Slugger for Mike Martin. He also received some Nike gear in recognition of his record as the winningest head coach in college baseball history. So the homage to Mike Martin all day long continues here, and the folks from Louisville Slugger tipping their caps as well to number 11.
Not sure the amount of awards like that are given out each year. I think there's 9 in each league in major leagues.
Yep.
9 in each league. This is a special presentation by the Louisville Slugger. Mike Martin and Florida State been using Louisville Slugger bats since the late 90s, and they really appreciate what support Mike Martin and Florida State has provided Louisville Slugger, and Florida State also thanks to Louisville Slugger, which is now owned by Wilson Sporting Goods, using Wilson gloves and Louisville Slugger bats. Pretty good compliment for each other.
The designated hitter, Devontae Brown, will get things started here for the Wolfpack, taking a first pitch fastball strike, freshman out of Noonan, Georgia. And then Cole Sands pulling the string, and it's 0-2. So you mix those speeds, you come back with the fastball up in the zone, get him to chase, and on 3 pitches, down goes the DH.
Edward Edwards hit that huge home run, but I tell you what, Cole Sands has been ahead of the batters most of the 8 guys he's faced.
And that'll bring up J.T. Jarrett, the second baseman, son of Link Jarrett, former Seminole and head coach at UNC Greensboro. He shows bunt and takes a fastball strike. It's 0-1. .258 batting average for JT. Looking for his 25th hit on the season. He falls behind the count, 0-2.
Had a hit and run single yesterday's ball game. Single to left field.
Surprise, surprise, freshman from Greensboro, North Carolina. Pretty well hit ball into right center field, but J.C. Flowers, you mentioned, he's all over it. 2 down.
It did not take long for Mike Martin to get that young man right there. J.C. Flowers back out in the outfield, back out in playing, not just playing, but get him back out in center field because he just complements his ball club. An outfielder can win a ball game, but what he does in the outfield, he ran down several balls this weekend.
Off-speed start against Josh McClain, who struck out back in the first inning. A couple of strikeouts and a ground out in a 1-2-3 inning for Sands and company, and now that bunt popped foul.
Lucky there, because nothing good happens when you pop up a bunt.
Mendoza had a beat on it, just couldn't quite get to it.
I don't have a lot of sayings, but it's one of them. Nothing good happens when you pop up a bunt.
Well, here's going to be my saying. You might want to get through McClain because you got a murderer's row of bats coming up here. And he does. 3 pitches, down goes McClain, another strikeout for Cole Sands. His 6th through 3 innings, and the center fielder, McClain, goes down again. 3rd inning here in Tallahassee, 1 hit apiece, but NC State's was a big one. Evan Edwards left the park back in the 2nd, so the Seminoles have a little work to do as Mike Salvatore will step up to the plate for the Seminoles and lead off this bottom of the 3rd inning. Not a too unfamiliar position for Salvatore. He spent quite a bit of the season as the leadoff man, but now he's tasked with turning that order over at the bottom. His batting average has been as high as 270, but he's had a pretty nice weekend. Back on the rise for Salvatore. Had 3 hits on Thursday, collected another one yesterday. And ahead in the count here, 1-0. Make that 1-1 on the inside fastball. I'll correct myself, too. He had 2 hits yesterday, so he was 2 for 4, in addition to being 3 for 3 on Thursday. So a really nice weekend so far for Mike Salvatore, but behind the count here, 1-2. That ball hit into center field, and McLean is underneath it.
Squared it up. It got in the air just a little bit too much, and McLean, the senior center fielder, got a beat on it, and that's all you need.
So now the order turns over to Rafael Bornegal. He grounded out on 2 pitches to JT Jarrett. Behind the count here, 0-1. 319 on base percentage as he lays off another strike and falls behind the count 0-2. Swung on a fastball there and sends it foul. It remains 0-2 to Bornegal. He a grad transfer into the program from Belmont. His dad, Rafael, played here. Good to see him back in the house for his son's senior day celebration. Here's the 1-2. Called for the strikeout look, and Bornegal knew it. He knew that fastball clipped the outside corner, so back to the dugout he goes, and up steps Jackson Luke.
Working just a little bit away. Little crossfire from the left-hander right on the black. Strike 3.
Fastball in on Jackson Luke. It's 1-0. He was ahead in the count 2-0 before he put a good swing on a ball, but lined it directly to the third baseman, Patera. And out ahead of that one, it goes 1-1.
So far, 2 outs into the third inning. This kid on the mound, David Harrison, is not pitching like his numbers. High ERA, working the corners, doing a great job.
Mixing those speeds, not afraid to throw the changeup. And behind the count goes Jackson Luke, 1-2. Fastball up. Luke second on the team in RBI on the season with 44, trailing only Cal Rowley, who's got 46. Also the biggest threat at the plate to leave the park with 14 home runs on the season, one of only 2 Seminoles in double digits, and just caught a piece there. Count remains 2-2.
2 outs, 2 strikes story. A lot of times you see freshmen late in the year, especially the first year. First year, got the season under the belt, a lot of experience. They were recruited because they could play. And that's why a lot of these freshmen are performing. They've gotten a whole year college baseball under their belt, 50-plus ball games.
That ball popped up into right field. And there to make the play is Brock Deathridge. So a 1-2-3 inning for the Wolfpack. Their lead remains 1-0 here in Tallahassee. Part of today's proceedings, we're celebrating the contributions of Mike Martin to the Florida State program. Also, Seminoles make sure that on Saturdays they respect and appreciate or pay a special sense of appreciation to the contributions of our military, both current and former and future, for all they do to allow us to come to the park here and enjoy a top 15 showdown like we have this weekend.
He is a true Seminole fan, and his son and daughter both graduate with FSU. Richard turns 90 in December. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome
That sure puts those ball and strike calls in proper perspective,
Yes, sir.
doesn't it?
Yes, sir. Got a Vietnam vet who served time in Afghanistan. Also, the gentleman here, just
90 years old.
90 years young, and World War II vet.
Jumped off a train in Russia, escaped execution, came back, served in the military, was a general in the Korean War.
I'd love to sit down and buy him a couple beers on that one. Gosh. He popped up a salute to the photographer downstairs. Honored to have him in the ballpark today.
Wow. Kids went to Florida State, a true Seminole fan, and he's still saluting folks on his way up the stairs. What a great scene. Dethridge popped up the 0-1, and it's into the glove of Flowers. One down.
Took a look down the NC State dugout. Turned and were looking up, see what was going on. And again, their respect for what they did. Pre-game and right there, just got to tip the cap to those guys. Out in the hot sun, watching what's going on. They're leading 1-0 here in the fourth.
And they got the shortstop, Will Wilson, at the plate ahead in the count, 1-0. And as that gentleman makes his way, he's shaking hands as he goes down the aisle.
Get an ovation as he's walking.
That's just awesome. 1-2 now the count to Wilson. Interestingly enough, every single run NC State has scored has been off the long ball. A 3-run home run from Kinnaman yesterday, or rather a couple of days ago. And yesterday, a few more home runs. Of course, the one from Dethridge in the 9th. And then they had a couple of home runs in the 6th as well. One from Dethridge and one from this man right here, Will Wilson. Wilson just caught a piece of that pitch off the end of his bat and fouled it back. The count remains 2-2. And that one hurt Cal Raleigh. Second time he's had to step away.
Banging up going on this past weekend. That catcher's been hit. Raleigh was popped yesterday. Umpire was hit last night. Raleigh is a fixture behind the plate.
He has been a starter since he came to Florida State behind the plate. There's been a couple of occasions, I believe 4 in total, that he's been the DH. But aside from that, has been a consistent starter behind the plate every game for the last 3 seasons. And down goes Wilson.
Sands with his location, even when he's a 3-2 count, came in and threw the ball in the outer third for a strike.
So 2 down as Kinnaman steps up to the plate. Fastball away, called strike 1. Kinnaman grounded out to the third baseman, Mendoza. I'll tell you what. Again, another close call there behind the plate. I think Raleigh might have caught a piece of the bat or the ball again. Boy, that's 3 this inning for Cal Raleigh.
Cal Raleigh's looking forward to a Sunday, Monday off for Florida State prior to the ACC tournament. And he has to block one.
I just want to pick up on that thought about Kyle Raleigh and how durable he's been, even though he's taken a beating in this particular inning. He started 177 consecutive games. 173 of those have come as the catcher. Started all 69 behind the plate last season. And that line drive peeling foul and into the bleachers on the right field side. So he takes a beating behind the plate. And despite that, he leads the team in RBI and batting average. Mike Martin not afraid to describe him using one word that begins with the W, and it's a pretty big one. Winner.
True there.
Seminoles looking for their 8th strikeout today, and that ball sent out to the track in left field. Kinnaman over the wall and out of here. Second home run this weekend for Brett Kinnaman.
When the ball was hit, I did not think it was hit far enough because my eyes go to Reese Albert, who came in a couple steps, and that ball just had carry on it. Deep to left field over the bullpen. That's the opposite field. Gets the ball up to show the strength. Do not see many opposite field home runs in this ballpark to left field. That's deep left field.
Yeah, it was.
It's a little bit short porch and right with the screen, but that's 230 something down the left field line. Not much breeze, a lot of carry today. There went the humidity.
Patrick Bailey fouls that one off. It's 1-1. Just the 2 hits for NC State today. But if you're going to have 2 hits, those are 2 pretty good ones. 2-1 the count now to the catcher Bailey. Check swing, and he came around. Jamie Roebuck making the call from third. Seminole fans wanting that 8th strikeout once again. Slow roller. Fouled off, I believe.
As that ball went off his foot, as hard that ball went back up to Sands on the mound. I think he's wearing any protection on his right front foot.
Nobody's safe. Nobody's safe back there. And that ball popped up into right field. Bornegal gives way, and Wells comes up to make the play to retire the side. So through the top of the 4th, NC State only has a couple of hits. Problem for the Florida State Seminoles is that they're both home runs. Welcome back to Tallahassee, the bottom of the 4th inning here at Dick Howser Stadium. Seminoles have a little work to do after a couple of home runs by NC State have given them a 2-0 lead here in Game 3 on this beautiful day for baseball here on Saturday, May 19th. Final weekend of the ACC regular season. And that beautiful scoreboard here at Dick Howser Stadium looking on over the left field wall. The man responsible for the Seminoles' only base hit of any kind today is Rhett Applin, and he will lead things off for the Seminoles. Batting average right there, just below 300. Naplin goes first pitch swinging, but that will die into the glove of McLean.
It's the same approach he had his first at bat, middle away. He just got under it just a little bit for first out.
Ball upstairs. It's ball one to the catcher, Raleigh. He took a beating today. He didn't want to wear that one. Third pitch that's gone all the way to the backstop. But so far, still so good for Harrison. As Cal Raleigh sends a high fly ball to left field, and watch that ball go straight into the parking lot for Cal Raleigh.
There's a lot of times you see a home run hit, and you got to see if it's going to go out. The crowd just gasps when that ball was hit. How far was it going to go? Because Raleigh got every bit of that one. Boom. Over the bullpen as you see it bounce in the parking lot.
There is a pretty good softball game going on over there. The softball team hosting the NCAA Regionals. Florida State playing Auburn, a rematch of the Women's College World Series semifinal a couple of years ago as Mendoza pops up on the first pitch he sees. Patera coming in and just making the grab. Lost it in the sun for a second, I believe, but he was still able to make the grab there, 2 down. But going back to softball, that home run nearly made a cameo over there. Stephen Wells now up at the plate. Hit a hard ground ball to Patera, who just made that grab on the pop-up. And Patera was able to get up off the ground and get the throw over to Evan Edwards in time to retire Wells. But a well-hit ball for Stephen Wells once again. And another Seminole is going to move ahead in the count here, 2-0 now to Stephen Wells.
Wells with his 7 home runs for the year has gotten where sometimes he looks for a pitch he can do some damage on. A lot of times home runs are accidents. He's starting to look for some balls.
And that's what he said on Friday after the game. He said, I sat on a few sliders. I'd seen that. I saw a fastball. I knew what I was looking at. And he cranked one.
He did. The big one at Clemson up in his eyes. Coach Martin's 1976 win wasn't a walk-off, visiting team.
Count goes full now to Stephen Wells. Walked a couple of times yesterday, and look out in the NC State dugout. They're unfazed. That ball guided over the shortstop, Will Wilson, and out there in left field, they can't make the play. Wells sliding into second, and he gets there in time.
Wells did not get out of the box, kind of wasn't running well. Then he sees the ball hit the ground. He put on the jets. Ball was knocked away as he dove for the ball. Kinneman,
Kinneman,
yeah.
Great effort trying to get to it, but there was only so much he could do. It was sort of sent into that awkward little spot where 3 guys didn't really have much of a shot.
They're going to check. They're going to check on Kinneman after in left field. Dove for a ball. For that last play, see if he was injured or not. injured his shoulder, extended himself, or maybe sometimes when you wear the sunglasses and you dive, sometimes they have some effect around your eyeballs, nose and area. He's okay.
And you see in the bullpen, Nolan Clenny getting warm once again. We've seen him earlier this week. We saw him yesterday, went a third of an inning, gave up 2 hits. The out he recorded was a strikeout. But here's J.C. Flowers, and out comes Scott Foxhall.
Get him a break. Hot out here. Sometimes you throw a bunch of pitches in the inning. He'll go out and give your pitcher a break, maybe catch a breath. Unless they're waiting. And maybe they're going to make a switch here.
This is, of course, the 10th appearance for David Harrison. He's got 30 2/3 innings of work signaled down to the pen.
Hey, fooled me.
So a 3-inning guy working into the 4th. Went 3 2/3 today, but the day for David Harrison has come to an end. Nolan Clenny gets the call with the Florida State runner in scoring position. It's 2-1 NC State. Nolan Clenny got the call from Scott Foxhall, and the redshirt junior out of Michigan makes his second appearance of the weekend for the NC State Wolfpack. 2 outs on the board, and Stephen Wells in scoring position after a Cal Raleigh home run as well. So tight little spot here for Clenny to come into with a 3.83 ERA. This will be his 29th appearance through 40 complete innings, 30 hits, 24 walks, and 53 strikeouts on the season for Clenny.
NC State maybe working as you work in this ball game, working themselves to get to the 7th inning. They have their closer, hasn't thrown much at all, doesn't get to him. Mentioned Clenny's 40 innings in regular season, giving up 5 home runs, but he's given up also the 5 home runs are all been in ACC play in his 17.2 innings in ACC play.
So Clenny will get set to go here, and J.C. Flowers will step up to the plate. Strike 1 to Flowers. Flowers walk back in the 2nd. And now here's a 1-1. On the ground to the shortstop, Wilson. Wilson with time retires Flowers to retire the side. But Florida State gets 1 run off a big blast off the bat of Cal Raleigh. Straight off the bat, never a doubt. See you in the parking lot. Seminoles still have a little work to do. It's 2-1. NC State. Board here at Dick Hauser Stadium. That is not for J.C. Flowers, by the way. That's for one of the fans here in the house. You see some of those arms heading down to the Seminole bullpen wearing their white today. I believe saw Kobe Johnson making his way there. There you see Connor Grady and Austin Pollock as well. Pollock, a guy who got a lot of starts on Sundays for a little while. But right now, aside from a couple of big blasts, Cole Sands has largely been on cruise control. And we'll see what he can do here as we head to the top of the 5th here in Tallahassee. It'll be the first baseman, Evan Edwards, who was responsible for that first home run, who will lead things off here in the top of the 5th. So an immediate test for Cole Sands out of the gate here in inning number 5. Edwards laying off the fastball on the outside corner. Once again, Sands starting away. Earlier on, he was starting inside fastball. Now he's really trying to pink that outside corner.
He's had tremendous control today. Been ahead of a lot of batters.
1-1 the count now to Edwards.
Again, as well as he's pitched, you got to credit NC State. Solo home runs.
Yep.
And that's haven't hit it with men on base. He's minimized the number of batters on base. As you mentioned, 2 hits, 2 home runs.
Looking for the 8th strikeout today. That ball downstairs. It goes 2-2 to the first baseman, Edwards. With the home run, that was his 40th run batted in this season. Here comes another 2-2, and that fouled back to the backstop.
Correct myself from last night's broadcast. We had a ball that was hit, catcher blocked it, batter swinging at it for Florida State. The backswing hit the ball.
Yep.
Then picked the ball up and threw the runner, tried to throw the runner at second base. The ball gets away, runner goes to third. Should have been correctly called. Once the ball hits the bat and the backswing, it's a dead ball. Don't know why it was missed, but it was missed, and I was incorrect in making my statement on it.
Right. Wow.
I think that's when Flowers went to second, went to third, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I'm still admiring that young fan's pipes. My
yes.
gosh. That young fan hasn't called 2 home runs this week, 2 walk-offs. I couldn't do that if I tried. Full count now to Evan Edwards. On the ground, hard hit ball off the glove of Sands. Heads up play by Bornegal, 1 down.
If that ball did not hit Sands, it goes up the middle. Sands deflected it. Bornegal would not gotten to it. It'd been further up the middle. Nice job by the senior second baseman. Getting a good throw to first.
And that brings up the third baseman, Stephen Patera. Struck out his first plate appearance today. He goes swinging on the 1-0. That ball sent into foul territory. Albert underneath it. Either way, nice job out in foul territory. I'm used to seeing Applin making plays out in foul territory. Different A, same result.
Seeing the ball, outfielders working out there. Reese Albert hasn't played a lot of left field. He's played a lot of center field when J.C. Flowers is out in left field. Again, when that ball was pitched, the ball was hit, instant movement out there. Great jumps on his outfielders.
Fastball strike to the designated hitter, Devontae Brown. Sands climbing the ladder with another 92-mile-an-hour heater. It's 1-1. Devontae Brown struck out back in the third. And now he's behind the count, 1-2.
These Florida State players, the young ones, are getting a taste what it's like in postseason, what it's like in the ACC, what it's like in the NCAA, a super regional atmosphere. Last 2 days here in Tallahassee. Goes down to 1 pitch, 1 swing of the bat, 1 mistake. Who blinks? Not sure if NC State blinked. Florida State's eyes were just wide open.
Yeah.
Last 2 nights.
That ball sent foul. Nice battle here from Devontae Brown. I'm talking to some of the NC State folks, the decision to make him the DH today. He had some quality at-bats, made good contact on a few pitches. Figured, what the heck, why not? Give him a shot. That 2-2 off the plate.
Look at the guy out there getting out there in a 2-strike count. Not expecting Brown to swing at it. Getting out there blocking that ball.
Breaking news over from the Seminole softball complex. It appears the Florida State softball team just walked off against Auburn to advance in the winner's bracket, and Bornegal retires Brown to retire the side here at Dick Howser Stadium. So through the top of the fifth, NC State hanging on to a 2-1 lead in Tallahassee. Tallahassee at Dick Howser Stadium. Gorgeous video board, and to confirm the report that we heard over from softball, an inside the park home run from Carson Gordon for Florida State to defeat Auburn 2-1 and advance in the winner's bracket of the Tallahassee Regional.
A leadoff, bottom of the eighth, inside the park home run. And that's why we heard the crowd cheering just beyond left field. Wow.
And how about the job Lonnie Alameda has done with that group over there? Lost some key players. Lost their star pitcher from last year in Jessica Burrows and some key pieces at the plate, including the likes of Alex Powers. Regrouped, got that team together, earned a national seed, now advancing in the winner's bracket of another regional. We're hearing that John Thrasher has made the ever so lengthy journey from baseball to softball and is over there congratulating the team. To our point yesterday, he will make his rounds and he will make sure that every team on this campus feels his love.
They're willing to bet a lot of the brass is over there. Win that second game of a regional, you're sitting pretty.
Absolutely. So the Seminoles looking pretty good over in softball. And a new pitcher for NC State for the second time this weekend. Kent Kleiman will check in, the sophomore out of Williamsburg, Virginia. 29th appearance, as well as Nolan Clenny. A 2.21 ERA, though, for Kent Kleiman. 53 innings of work, 38 hits, 19 walks, 58 strikeouts.
To mention, they're trying to get maybe to the eighth inning or so, climbing the best ERA on the ball club, a 2.2 for the year.
Kleiman went through 2 innings, gave up a couple of hits through 10 batters faced. Walked a couple as well, struck out 3. But did not allow a single earned run as the Animals strike up their familiar tune for the last time in the regular season. Reese Albert will lead things off here in the bottom of the fifth. It's O Canada time one more time here in Tallahassee.
NC State's throwing some left-handed pitchers at these Florida State left-handed batters.
Fastball away there from Kleiman. It's 2-1 now to Albert.
Yeah, but that's second strike.
It's been the formula for NC State. They'll come inside on occasion, but they have been very content to work the outside corner against Florida State, and Albert fouling that one off to keep the count 2-2. Fastball, similar spot, but wide of the strike zone. The count goes full.
Freshman has shown he has a very good eye to plate, 130 at-bats, 136 base on balls.
A couple of walks and a couple of innings for Kleiman a couple of days ago, and Albert swung on that 3-2, popped it up, and that'll carry him off the netting. Actually, it stays up on the netting.
Somebody's going to get a 2-for-1 next time a ball hits over there.
Uh-huh.
Right above the NC State dugout.
So a little more life for Reese Albert at the plate. Decent battle here from the freshman. And the battle has come to an end with a strikeout.
Very uncharacteristic, swinging at the ball well above his eyes. Ball looks big up there.
And that'll bring up Mike Salvatore. Shortstop flew out to center field back in the third inning. It was a 1-2-3 inning for the Wolfpack. That a ground ball up the middle and through. So Salvatore keeps a good weekend going with another base hit.
I think he's had a good focus. Starting last weekend and this weekend is trying to focus up the middle. You mentioned he flew out the first inning, got under it a little bit. That ball got on top of it, drove it up the middle for a 1-out single, back to the top of the order.
Had 3 base hits and a sac bunt on Thursday. Yesterday was 2 for 4. And now today with another base hit. So that's 6 hits this weekend for Mike Salvatore. Order turns over to Rafael Bornegal. This is a guy who's done, I think, just about everything but record a hit here. He's been hit by pitches, he's walked, he's struck out, he's flown out, he's grounded out.
Catcher Bailey did a good job of getting to that ball to get the runner up second base. NC State's catchers have done an outstanding job all weekend of picking pitches away from the strike, away from the plate to keep runners from advancing.
And you're talking about a freshman back there, too.
Yes.
Here's the 2-0. Framed outside, but they're not going to get the call. It's 3-0 now to Rafael Bornegal. And a 4-pitch walk. Keeps a little string of momentum going here for Florida State, with Jackson Luke stepping up to the plate.
Going back to that, Bat Albert had swinging at the 3-2 pitch up in his eyes. It could have been the big inning going for Florida State. Now back to Luke with 2 on with 1 out.
Jackson Luke lined out back in the first, flew out to right in the third. Now he's got a couple of runners aboard with only 1 out on the board here in the 5th. Ball well off the plate as well. 5 balls in a row for Kent Kleiman. And they'll just keep getting louder.
Nice job by Bailey going out after 6 balls in a row. Crowd here very vocal today. And there's no guarantees it's going to be a postseason tournament here at all. They're getting their money's worth today. They've gotten their money's worth the last 2 days.
That they have.
I'm trying to see if you've caught your breath. We've had a home run. You've had 2 home run calls in 2 nights. I didn't see you before the game today. I knew you were going to be here. Catch your breath and let's go to work.
I'll tell you what, I was trying to look up tea, coffee. What am I supposed to drink? What am I supposed to consume to get those vocal cords ready to go today? I mean, with NC State, every run they've scored has been on the long ball. They just haven't had the walk-offs. Florida State's had theirs. It's been there have been a lot of home run calls. It's been almost a home run derby this weekend.
I got a button to push over in my office for a cup of coffee, and I didn't get there because the pregame presentation went a little long.
Yeah.
A little note I left on Coach Martin's table downstairs. He has his notebooks, notes, and all of that. I wrote, I want 2,000.
Yeah.
2,000 wins. Keep getting after it, big guy.
He's continuing to work his way toward that number. Surpassed Augie Garrido at 1,976, now up into the 80s.
It'd be a nice, crisp 40 years for Coach Martin.
Yep.
Be a nice, crisp 35 years for me. I came here as a kid.
The inside move there from Kleiman after Bailey came out to have a word with him. He's not going to make him any new friends here in Tallahassee. And after a little delay, the count 2-0, and here it comes to Jackson Luke. And finally, he ends that streak of balls with the strike, a fastball at 90 miles an hour.
Probably had to be taken after 6 straight balls. Hit with a fastball.
Make him throw a strike.
Yes. Yeah. He's still looking for a good ball to hit here, and he can do some damage.
He did some damage on Jackson Luke. So the bases are going to be loaded with Rhett Applin stepping up from the on-deck circle. A sac fly here ties it up. A base hit could give you the lead. And Chip, you've been saying you've been waiting to see that pop off Rhett Applin's bat
Yes.
that you saw in Gainesville. If you see that here, 4 more go on the board.
Sure, he'd take a double to left center.
Mm-hmm.
Had a good approach so far today. Single to center and a fly ball to center. This Florida State crowd here in the 5th inning senses something. They know they've been very fortunate to win 2 ball games. They have to try to get runs when they can. Great opportunity here with Applin and Raleigh on deck. Keep the ball off the ground. Watch your lips. Line that ball into the NC State dugout off the back wall.
Saw Scott Foxhall a minute ago after he went out to have a word with Kent Kleiman. Foxhall in his 4th season with NC State. Came from Auburn. Big series this weekend for Auburn against LSU. Auburn trying to stay in the mix to perhaps host a regional. LSU trying to make sure that they get in the tournament.
Going to give them a chase and pitch up. You see the bottom of your screen there. Will Wilson, the shortstop, is well behind. Runner at second base. Big hole, shortstop hole. Ground ball through there, scores 2. Warnick out second.
And Applin went oppo, but that ball peeling foul into the bleachers. It remains 1-2. Applin is 1 for 2 today with the base hit back in the 1st. Flew out to center in the most recent inning in the 4th. Taken all the way on the fastball on the outside corner. It's 2-2.
Clement's been a little erratic with his control. Hit Luke on a fastball in. That ball's erratic. Bailey's setting up one way and the ball's going the other way. Electric arm on the mound.
Down goes Red Applin.
Mentioned that ball has a lot of movement. That ball late in life on that fastball to just a lot of sink on it. Brings up Raleigh with 2 out.
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong here? The last one he saw ended up in the parking lot.
Might have been the best pitch he's thrown to get Applin out. A lot of sink on that. Like 91 miles an hour. A lot of sink on that fastball. Turned it over a little bit.
2 outs on the board, bases loaded. Raleigh, first pitch swinging. And that will eliminate the threat. Patrick Bailey, heads up play by the freshman, collected the ground ball, got back to the plate, and got the force at home. It's 2-1 NC State. Welcome back to Tallahassee, where the Animals of Section B are, whether you're ahead on the scoreboard or behind on the scoreboard, it's always a party over there in Section B. They've got all their props, and they are ready to go. They almost had a chance to bust loose in their O Canada inning with the bases loaded, but opportunities gone wanting for Florida State. And now Cole Sands will have to come back out there and keep this thing a 1-run game and turn it back over to his offense and see if they can actually capitalize in the 6th.
Renting several of those Animals group from Section B getting to the ballpark 12:35 or so, trying to get upstairs for the pregame celebration for Mike Martin. I said, guys, you've had all day to get here. You've had all night. I think you're here, though. You're not used to getting here this early.
Uh-huh.
There was a laughter. They were going up, and I was going down the steps.
Leading off here for NC State is the second baseman, J.T. Jarrett. And again, as opportunistic as NC State's been, 2 hits, both home runs. This just now completing the 2nd trip through the order for the Wolfpack.
75th pitch of the day for Sands.
That ball popped off the bat and foul. 92-mile-an-hour fastball fouled off. It's 1-2 now to J.T. Jarrett. looking for his 25th hit. He's got a .349 on base percentage, but a .450 batting average when leading off. Tried to lay down a bunt there, and it rolled foul.
Perfect or foul. The ball trickled foul early. Give him some help down there. Ran all the way to first base. Two strike it. Why not? It's 2 strikes. Strikeout. Got me. Surprised me there. Don't usually see the 3rd strike. Bunt it foul. You're out.
Josh McClain on the ground to Rafael Bornegal. Couple of pitches and another out. 2 down.
1 pitch, 1 out there. Net at bat.
And again, this is going to be important here for Cole Sands, because right now you've got Dethridge, Wilson, Kinnaman, Bailey, and Edwards all bearing down on you. Try to get through Dethridge, get your 1-2-3 inning, keep the pitch count down, and turn this thing back over to your offense if you can. 1-0 the count to Brock Dethridge, the right fielder. Struck out in the first, flew out to center field a couple of innings ago. On the ground, Rafael Bornegal cheats over. It's going to be Applin, and Applin will make the toss to Cole Sands. A 1-2-3 inning and an efficient one at that for Cole Sands and company. It's still 2-1 NC State. Bottom of the 6th inning here in Tallahassee. Seminoles had them loaded in the most recent inning, but weren't able to play to run off of it. So we'll see what the offense can do this time around for Florida State. Kent Kleiman was able to get out of that bases loaded jam. And we'll see what he can do and see if that'll settle him in a little bit. Only won a couple of innings on Thursday night. Walked a couple, gave up a couple of hits, but didn't give up an earned run. So once again, flirted with trouble, didn't give up much of anything, and Drew Mendoza will lead things off here for the Seminoles. For 2 today is Mendoza, batting average down to .314. When leading off, he's hitting .387. Got an on-base percentage currently of .431, so he finds his way on base about half the time. And that ball will roll foul.
Worked the fastball down, just got a piece of it. Ball was off I believe it was off Patrick Bailey, the catcher. Mendoza out there cleaning up the yard a little bit, but that foul ball went up the line.
Here's the 1-1. He had designs of sending that ball an extremely long way, and came up empty on the fastball. It's 1-2.
Chased one up, see if he goes back up there. A 1-2 count. Breaking ball up. Little breeze picked up in the ballpark. I'm sure the fans out in the bleachers are liking that. Blowing out to left center.
Got underneath it, and this ball sent into center field. Josh McClain makes a couple of steps up. 1 down.
Ball was hit in the air. I don't look at the ball much. I watch the outfielders. McClain just stood still. I don't know if he saw it or not, but it's pretty much, as you said, right there, a couple steps in front of him.
And now Stephen Wells, double in his most recent at-bat. He takes ball 1.
Hyman's missed 2 breaking balls up in this inning. Kind of hung him. Never locate the fastball down, though.
Yep, fastball down and in. It's 1-1 now to Wells. On the ground, right back at Kleiman.
A linear right back at him. Put the glove out there. Defensive. Put out.
Another hard hit ball from Stephen Wells, a line drive right at the glove of Kleiman. Second hard luck, well hit ball from Stephen Wells today. Here's J.C. Flowers. Flowers walked back in the second, grounded out in the fourth. Heading the count here 2-0. He had designs of sending that ball an absurd distance. It's 2-1.
Jordan had his left hand, has so much movement on his fastball. Florida State, a couple batters that swung right through a ball, through some balls.
Taken all the way there on the inside fastball. The count goes 3-1. Chance for Flowers to walk for the second time today. This ball sent into center field. McLean retreats back to the track, and he's underneath it for a 1-2-3 inning for the Wolfpack. Their lead remains 1 as we head to the top of the 7th. Beautiful day for baseball in Tallahassee as we head to the top of the 7th here at Dick Howser Stadium. And as we take a look at our game recap, well, why not talk about the long ball? There's been a couple today. One out to right for Evan Edwards toward the circus. Then Brett Kinnaman going oppo over the left field wall and into his team's bullpen. Then Cal Raleigh says, well, that's cool. I'm not going to go into your bullpen. I'm going to go into the parking lot. That's the difference. Seminoles have had several hits today, but the one there from Cal Raleigh, the only one that's had an RBI attached to it. The 2 hits for NC State have both been home runs, so they've got the 2-1 lead. And they'll try to add to it here with the dangerous part of the lineup due up here to face Cole Sands here in the top of the 7th.
Shown both these ball clubs are limited, as you mentioned, 3 home runs, 3 solo shots. 2-1 ball game here at NC State, but again, both these clubs have limited the number of base runners. No base on balls as far as people getting on and before a home run. Limited that. It's going to come down 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. Here we go.
Heck of a series here at Dick Howser Stadium in Tallahassee, Florida. In case you're just joining us, Sean Davison alongside Chip Baker. As that ball gets by the glove of Drew Mendoza, Will Wilson picks up his first base hit today.
First pitch swinging off speed. Just pulled the ball right by Mendoza at third.
The first non-home run base hit for NC State. Now here's Brett Kinnaman to try to pour it on Sands here. Sands was at 82 pitches coming into this inning. Working inside on Kinnaman. Back to the fastball. It's 1-1 to the left fielder. Good to see Kinnaman up. He was getting checked out by the athletic trainers when he tried to dive out in left field to snag a ball that was doubled by Stephen Wells. But he fouls that one off. It's 1-2.
NC State's a very difficult ball club to double up. Only 20 double. They've only hit into 20 double plays all year. Only 11 in the ACC play.
The 11th and the 20th of those came yesterday in the 8th inning against the Seminoles. And the fastball in, called ball 2. Midseason All-American, Golden Spikes midseason watch list for Brett Kinnaman. Came into this weekend, tied for first in the ACC in RBI with 56. Now that's up to an even 60. Turned on that one and foul. It'll remain 2-2. Fastball out, and Kinnaman wouldn't chase, so the count goes full. Good at bat here from Kinnaman. Junior left fielder out of York, Pennsylvania. A .412 on base percentage coming into this weekend. Down to .402. So he's held his own this weekend in Tallahassee. And of course, full count, they started Wilson. And he'll retreat back to first.
Smart baseball there. Dig out the plate. Making contact. Start the runner stay out of the double play. That's why they don't hit into many.
Exactly. Here comes another payoff pitch. Fouled off again.
Thinking how far Cole Sands has gone into a ball game this year. Twice he's gone 7 innings. Once with Louisville, once at Georgia Tech. His last 3 starts, 4 innings with Duke, 4 innings NC State, and 6 innings last week in Mount St. Mary's.
Another one fouled off.
Taking extra pitches right here, fouling three in a row. Keep seeing your best stuff. You're throwing your best stuff on a 3-2 count. Fouling balls off. Let's see what ACC stands for. A lot of times, all curveball conference. See what happens here.
How about a fastball down? Yeah.
Try to call it. Didn't happen.
So runners on at first and second. The pitch count's going to be somewhere near 90 here for Cole Sands, maybe even 1 or 2 above it.
NC State 32 base hit bunting attempts this year. Situation here calls for it. Bailey at the plate with 1.
And out comes the junior catcher, Cal Raleigh, to talk to his pitcher. Veteran move here from Raleigh.
Bullpen is stern, but not in a hurry. Florida State side. Body's up and no one is actually throwing, so maybe they're just stretching. Key for a bunter to get the ball on the ground, make the third baseman field it. Makes it easy on everyone for his offensive side. Get the ball on the ground, your runners get to read it. Defensively, you want to try to get the guy to pop it up or bunt it right at someone. That's going to do the job there.
Absolutely. Bloop single here will load the bases.
Wow.
Real good chance for NC State to do some damage. No outs on the board.
Salvatore at second base was holding the runner. Not sure if he'd had an opportunity to get to that ball. It was hit over his head out there in shallow left field. Bases loaded here, NC State.
This is the last of the really dangerous power bats for NC State, but now they've got the bases loaded and no outs on the board. Anything into the outfield should plate 1. Anything on the ground through the gaps could plate a couple. And out comes Raleigh once again. Clayton Kwiatkowski is up and throwing in the Seminoles bullpen. Appears to be the only jersey up at the moment. Unless there's somebody tucked behind the bleachers as well. But there you see Kwiatkowski. Saw Kwiatkowski on Thursday, went a little more than 2 innings and pitched pretty well. Now out comes Mike Martin. I've seen this movie a time or two before.
Coach Martin's walking in the home plate, speaking to the home plate umpire David Savage. Just to take a couple more seconds. David, how many trips do I have left?
And something that was so important in the win yesterday was after NC State got off to their 2-0 lead, Andrew Karp was able to settle in, steady the ship, and eliminate any further damage. He was able to get back to work and have an efficient outing and get through those hitters left and right, and just kept keeping his offense in touch. And sooner or later, you keep giving yourselves those opportunities where you only need to plate 1 or 2 instead of 4 or 5. You've got that opportunity to take the lead, which they would do with 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th. This is where it gets concerning for Florida State when you've got no outs on the board, you're trailing by 1, and the bases are loaded.
Always try to stay away from the big inning. Big pitches. Chris Martin's getting a little extra time out there. Still coaching.
Well, maybe that's his gift from the ACC officiating crew. He got a gift from Nike. He got a gift from Louisville Slugger.
Looks back into Mike Bell in the dugout. He calls for the left-hander.
2 1/3 innings of work for Clayton Kwiatkowski a couple of days ago. Struck out a couple, didn't walk anybody, didn't give up a single hit. It was a really solid outing. And we'll see if he can build on that today. Kwiatkowski gets the call. Florida State trails by 1. Here in Tallahassee, the 4th-ranked NC State Wolfpack have already lost the series but are trying to recapture some momentum. They've picked up a couple of home runs here today. Those represent the 2 runs on the board. Now they've loaded the bases in the top of the 7th after Florida State trimmed the lead to 1. And now the Seminoles have made the call to Clayton Kwiatkowski to come in here and inherit this bases-loaded, no-out jam, his 23rd appearance, an ERA of 3.34 through 35 innings. He's given up 28 hits. He's walked 17, but has struck out 40.
He relieved Drew Parrish on Thursday night. Came in on a 2-0 count, enticed a line drive to left field. And he did face Evan Edwards at the end of the next inning and struck him out looking. Edwards batting here with the bases loaded. Goes back to the second week of fall practice when you're a freshman. You're always pitching in this situation, loading them up, nobody out. Get your pop-up, get your strikeout, get a ground ball yet in. You're not trying to get 3 outs with 1 pitch. You're trying to make the next pitch a perfect pitch. And these kids have been in through this the whole time when they're pitching in the fall. They put runners on bases preseason. They put runners on bases. This is live. Here we go.
And we'll see how he fares. Evan Edwards, one of the 2 home runs today. Stepping up into the box. And he needs an extra second to get himself set. He'll tighten the gloves and get back to work. Four hits apiece. And Edwards, an aggressive approach to the plate. First pitch swinging, he fouls it back. It's 0-1.
That 89-mile-an-hour fastball, he has a sweeping breaking ball. That's one of his better pitches, not his best pitch. There it is there, just left it up.
Mm-hmm. Big opportunity here for Edwards and the Wolfpack. I'll look into the eyes of Clayton Kwiatkowski. Fastball up and away, it's 2-1.
Evan Edwards has yet to ground out into a double play this year.
Came down with the fastball, still missing the strike zone. It's 3-1. Chance here perhaps for NC State to walk in a run. And that they do. 3-1 NC State. Will Wilson makes his way in.
Piece of hitting after that first pitch strike. Kwiatkowski could not locate.
Third baseman Steven Patera, ground ball up the middle. Salvatore will try to turn two, and does. That does, of course, plate another run. It's now 4-1 Wolfpack, but now a couple of outs on the board.
The ball in play, bases loaded. Second time he's grounded out this year to double play, but again, another run on the board for State, for NC State. Can relax, look for a push button here. Left-handed pitcher, first baseman's back with Applin. Runner at third.
Nice pitch there. Strikeout and a ground out for the DH today, Devontae Brown. On the ground, hard hit ball. Salvatore to retire the side. He does. But two more runs come in for the Wolfpack, and that will extend their lead to 3. Seminoles have work to do when we come back in the bottom of the 7th. Once again, a chance to honor this great country and those who have served and died to protect it so we can enjoy days like this at the ballpark. It's time to stretch now in Tallahassee, midway through the 7th. And to lead things off when we get back going is going to be Reese Albert, then Mike Salvatore, then it turns over to Rafael Bornical, Jackson Luke, if we get there. And then into the meat of the order with Applin, Raleigh, Mendoza. How big that shift of momentum with the bases loaded and Raleigh at the plate, first pitch swinging. Bailey able to apply the force at the plate.
Smart play by the catcher, the freshman catcher going out, getting the ball instead of making the throw, runs out, gets it, steps on the plate.
Eliminating the threat, NC State able to load them up a couple of innings later, and they were able to cash in a couple. So now they've got a little bit more breathing room, and they're going to need it because this kid here and his teammates have showed no will to back down at all. They've trailed a couple of times. They've answered every single time, and we'll see if they can do it again or if this time NC State can close the door, because the Wolfpack, a highly talented, highly capable bunch of their own that have run through some very impressive teams in the ACC. Swept Clemson when Clemson was the number 2 team in the country. That's what shot NC State way up in the RPI, way up in the polls, from 75th to 9th. So we'll see if this is the day that NC State can settle in and get themselves a big road win against a top 15 team, or if Florida State can do something that is incredibly hard to do, especially in conferences like the ACC and the SEC, and sweep their visiting opponent. 1-1 the count to Albert. Big swing there.
One thing NC State has done today is limited the number of base runners that has allowed Florida State. Only 4 hits. Think of only 4 other base runners. Couple walks, hit batters.
And a pop-up here from Reese Albert and into the glove of Will Wilson. One down.
Shortstop, number 16, Mike Salvatore.
Two big runs, top of the seventh for NC State.
NC State, a team that's had two considerable winning streaks. They had a 13-game winning streak until they got swept by UNC. They also had an 8-game winning streak until they lost game 1 here in Tallahassee. Over that 8-game winning streak, they had a .304 batting average as a team, 66 runs scored, an average of 8.25 per game. Also worth noting, NC State is 31-1 when they lead after 7. Here we are, bottom of the 7th, one out on the board, and Salvatore behind the count. Florida State trailing by 3.
Their best ERA guy is on the mound. They're climbing.
Hard hit ball, but line foul.
Still have their closer in the bullpen, Joe O'Donnell, and pinched limited pitches again with the walk-off home run by Wells on Thursday night. But again, he's pretty good with 10 saves.
Pretty good with 10 saves.
Really good.
But has had his struggles against the Seminoles in recent years. Ground ball off the bat of Salvatore. Here's the shortstop trying to throw out the other shortstop, and he does so in time.
Outstanding play by the sophomore shortstop. Big kid gets pitch, breaking ball, jams him a little bit, straight to the ball. Making the throw on the run. Everybody in college baseball can get down that line. You hesitate in the infield, the runner can beat the play. Most everybody can run anyway down that line.
Bornegal ahead in the count here. Walked in his last plate appearance. Check swing there on the fastball outside. It's 3-0. Keep working that outside corner for Kent Kleiman. This time he gets the strike call.
He'll automatic there on a 3-0. Down the middle.
Came back in on Bornegal there. It's now full. Here comes the payoff. Bornegal lays off the fastball upstairs and earns a 2-out walk.
Second straight base on balls after going 3-0 with Bornegal. Brings up Luke, who's always dangerous. He's on base. Last inning, 2 innings ago, Florida State had the bases loaded to get nothing out of it. He's hit by a pitch. Again.
Wow. So identical plate appearances not only for Rafael Bornegal, but also for Jackson Luke. And now here's Rhett Applin. Both he and Cal Raleigh a couple of innings ago stepped up to the plate with the bases loaded. And with Applin only 1 out on the board, he would strike out swinging, and then Raleigh would ground out to retire the side.
A tremendous at bat on Applin's part. Fouled a bunch of balls off it. Here comes NC State's pitching coach.
Scott Foxhall making another appearance out to the mound.
He does make the changes. Another left-hander to bullpen for NC State.
I was just trying to get a read on what that number was.
43.
Connor Santala. Boy, was he impressive in game one. 3 innings. A guy that had been pretty much a 1-inning guy went 3 innings and struck out 3. All right. So the meeting on the mound has concluded. And Red Applin stepping into the batter's box. Another opportunity here for Florida State. And again, being able to produce with 2 outs on the board is going to be a key for you if you're going to produce into the postseason. If you're Red Applin, no time like the present. After a pop-up from Albert and a ground out from Salvatore, Bornegal walked. Jackson Luke was hit by a pitch. The count now 0-1 to Red Applin. Inside ball there, it's 1-1.
Applin's had pretty good contact on balls. He's hit up the middle the other way. Single to left field. And line drive to center.
Base hit came back in the first. It was the first hit for either team today. Took a big swing at a fastball there and fouled it off. It goes 1-2. Your tying run at the plate here, potentially, with Red Applin.
Outfield played a little bit toward left field, big gap in right center.
And he goes through the left side. Florida State's got a chance to tack on another. In comes Rafael Bornegal. He's safe. Elliott Avent out immediately.
Line drive in front of Bornegal. Did not get the great jump. Watch him. He hesitate right. Didn't get the great jump. He had to duck. He didn't get the great jump and did a great throw by Kinnaman from left field. Only 1 assist all year, but there's going to be a look on this one. We're going to get a look at this one on replay.
Deservedly so. I think he got his foot in there, but absolutely, if you're Elliott Avent, you got to come out there and ask him to take another look at that.
Going back to my third base coaching days, and that ball was hit, my eyes would go straight to that runner. And 2 outs, you're going to bring him. You got to bring him in this situation.
Of course.
Did not get a great jump because the line drive, he had to duck under it.
All right, so the officials will head to the monitor. Hey, I'm impressed that we got 7 innings in before we went to the monitor today. We were making trips to the monitor a lot early, yeah. And, you know, we've gone from base to base to base. We haven't had to look at anything over at third yet, but the first day we were over at first a lot. Yesterday we were at second a lot, and the call is confirmed at the plate. Bornegal is in, and that's an RBI base hit for Red Applin in a 2-run game with Cal Raleigh stepping up to the plate.
NC State's head coach Elliott Avent was going to the plate immediately before Bornegal did even a pop-up slide. Get the call right, and they got it right. Second trip, they're going to call for the left-hander.
Signal made down to the bullpen, as you mentioned, Chip, and I would imagine this is going to be the call for Connor Santala to come in and see if he can replicate his efforts from a couple days ago. Indeed it is. Santala is going to make his way in. A couple outs on the board. Florida State has cut the lead to 2. New pitcher for NC State is Connor Santala. Santala was impressive through 3 innings a couple of days ago. He's a redshirt freshman out of Tampa, Florida. and today will be his 9th appearance. He's got a 1.93 ERA, down because he went 3 innings, didn't allow an earned run. Had been a 1-inning guy until that point. He only still has 9 1/3 on the season. He's given up 10 hits, has walked 4, but has struck out 6, but did a very nice job against the Seminoles a couple of days ago. Certainly the mission here for NC State is to get that final out, see if you can get Centala through the 8th, and then, all right, Joe O'Donnell, see if you can close the deal, this time with the lead.
Everybody taking a knee. Halftime here. A little break in the game, catch your breath. We're just getting started.
Oh, yeah. You aren't kidding. You aren't kidding. It's looking like we might have a flair for the dramatic 3 days in a row. It's a good thing I've rested up the vocal cords.
On Thursday night, the home run to left field, it was a close one. I grabbed your arm, making sure you had the great call. But last night, it was a no-brainer.
At that point in time, you're almost just expecting it.
You thought I was going to grab you, but last night it was wow.
Last night, that was a drop your jaw, drop the bat, drop everything.
Brings up Raleigh here with 2 on and 2 out. Raleigh did not face Centala in Thursday night's ballgame.
Centala, despite the runners on, 2 out, 1 across situation with the crowd starting to come back alive. Plenty of reason to be confident. And he comes out with a first pitch strike to Cal Raleigh. And Cal Raleigh sends a base hit into left. This could plate a couple.
Watch Alpin. He's running. See what happens. Nope.
Still favoring that quad injury. Applin pulls up at third, but we cut the lead to 1 here in Tallahassee. And all of a sudden, the crowd coming alive once again. And runners in scoring position for Florida State.
Raleigh gets the ball up, pulls that ball, hits it hard, get to the corner. Could have been a good job of getting to that ball. Excuse me, getting to the ball. Applin with 2 out, as you mentioned, was not running the best. Coming off the quad injury. Got his running again on Thursday night.
That he did. Found a way to beat a throw out to first and then would come in to score.
Scored on a ground ball that went through the right fielder's legs in right field and scored from first. Brings up Mendoza.
Brett not over yet. Big swing there from Drew Mendoza. 1-run game. Boy, what do we have on our hands here? Taken all the way there on a ball in the dirt.
Mentioned before the start of this inning, NC State has limited Florida State's base runners. This inning, a base on balls, a hit batter, put runners on, a couple base hits, 2 runs on the board. All this shown with 2 out.
2 out base hits. And a fastball strike on the outside corner. You can sort of see the crowd here. They've all shifted forward in their seats.
First 6 innings, they get to sit back and just watch a baseball game.
Well, that's no fun.
No.
Now you have to move forward a bit.
This is a battle here.
Down goes Drew Mendoza, and the tag applied by Bailey to eliminate the threat. But Florida State cuts the lead to 1 here in the bottom of the 7th. Rafael Bornigal, a little hesitation, but no problem. He slides in safe, and the Seminoles score 2. New pitcher for Florida State is Connor Grady. So Connor Grady will try to get the Seminoles through the top of the 8th inning here in Tallahassee. NC State does have that lead through 7. They are 31-1 when they lead through 7, but Connor Grady will try to keep their bats quiet. The freshman out of Tampa, Florida, making his 21st appearance, a 4.50 ERA through 26 innings, 19 hits, 20 walks, 29 strikeouts. At times he's looked really good. At times he's struggled quite a bit, so we'll see what we get from Connor Grady here today. It'll be important for him to make quick work here of the bottom of the order and the top of the order with Jarrett and McLean, because then again, worth repeating, Deathridge, Wilson, Kinnaman, Bailey.
Megan King in the ballpark, getting a standing ovation. Pitcher for Florida State softball with the arm wrapped up. How about that left-hander? Grinning from ear to ear, and why not?
Yeah, it's been the weekend of the walk-off, and inside the park walk-off for Florida State softball.
Florida State had a no-hitter in softball yesterday.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, too. There was the national championship game between Florida State and Auburn. There was the regional last year between Florida State and Auburn. There was a 5-set volleyball match this season between Florida State and Auburn. Now an inside-the-park home run walk-off between Florida State and Auburn. They had the extra innings game a couple of years ago at the Women's College World Series between Florida. There's something about those two teams getting together. Terrell Tatum checking in here as a pinch hitter for JT Jarrett.
Mentioned this many broadcasts this year. This crowd, the Florida State baseball crowd, the fans here are most knowledgeable. I mean, anywhere I go, college baseball, but they know they're Florida State athletes. Baseball players, basketball players, softball players, they know when these athletes show up and they appreciate the work they do.
And going back to softball for a second, it's not uncommon for those fans who don't make their way up to Durham, or if the baseball team is on the road somewhere, to not go over there to softball and cheer on the softball team. It's been an absolute spectacle when Florida State and Florida play in softball. You'll get a lot of the animals over there leading K-time chants.
Book it tomorrow. Florida State plays tomorrow afternoon in the regional. Some people from Section B animals will hold court out there in left field.
Full count pitch here to Terrell Tatum. Check swing. Came around.
Going in, hitting with that first pitch, breaking ball, top of the order, 1 out, strike 1.
Bottom fell out there. It's 0-2.
Raleigh out there smothering the ball in the 0-2 count.
K-time chance back in the air. 1-2. Fouled off.
Buried that ball in, didn't he?
Count remains 1-2.
Grady has struggled a little bit in the ACC play, 15 innings, 16 base on balls. ERA's 7+. A couple bad outings. When you're a reliever and don't get number of innings, you give up a couple balls, a couple runs.
Yep.
Good rebound. Looks like he has good control today.
Count goes 2-2. This ball lifted over the head of Salvatore into left center field. Flowers on the run up and underneath it. 2 down. Don't get me wrong. McLean can hurt you. Terrell Tatum certainly capable of hurting you. But we've seen Dethridge, Wilson, Kinnaman, and Edwards in this 5-guy stretch all do some serious damage this weekend. It starts here with Brock Dethridge. Dethridge is 0 for 3 today, a strikeout in the first, a fly out to center in the fourth, and a ground out a couple of innings ago in the sixth. And now ahead in the count here in the eighth. Seminoles actually out hitting NC State. But NC State's been a little bit more opportunistic. Been plenty of times that you could say the reverse. Count now 3-0 to Brock Dethridge. And this time, Grady finds the outside corner for strike one. Found it again for strike two.
Dethridge with over 60-plus strikeouts. Not a whole lot of base on balls with 27.
Hard hit ball through the gap into right.
Good at bat there by the senior right fielder. Laced that ball to right field. 2-out base hit. Brings up more trouble. Have to locate. You want to make him leave there running. Had a good pitch to a good hitter, and he pulled it.
And now here is Will Wilson. Led off the seventh inning with a base hit. Aside from that, he's grounded out in the first and struck out in the fourth. Throw over to first. Dethridge is safe.
Dethridge 16 out of 23 in stolen base attempts. You have to keep him close. Mix up your looks, mix up your timing. He is looking to go. Probably blocking that ball quickly, getting the ball in his hand to be able to catch Dethridge. Had the thought of going. Coaches, I'm sure, of NC State have their stopwatches out. See how quick Connor Grady is to the plate.
Another check swing, but this time the appeal down to the first base umpire, David Pritchett, results in him saying no swing. 1-1. Crowd thought he came around. Again, important to keep Dethridge honest at first. Fastball off the plate.
Grady's pitching ball games where he's in the ball game late in the game, closing role at times. Teams are 2 for 2 in stolen base attempts with him.
And now Will Wilson is 2-2 against him.
Chris Hart, the third base coach, flashing a bunch of signs over.
This will be a huge strikeout for Connor Grady if he can get it. And that ball popped up off the bat. Mendoza coming in. And underneath it to retire the side. It's not a strikeout, but it's a solid inning of work for Connor Grady. The Seminoles will have a chance to continue the string of momentum, down 1 to the bottom of the 8th. Guest of honor here in Tallahassee is Megan King.
We're doing nose cheer here. Watch this. Yeah.
Waving to the crowd.
Girl.
They got her back up to do the Noles cheer. The ice can wait. I got to do the Noles cheer.
Yeah.
She has been such a great contribution to Lonnie Alameda's program. And a great 1-2 punch over there with softball between her and Hansen, or when it was Burrows. Burrows had all that strikeout stuff. She would induce those ground balls and get a lot of those ground outs. So,
watch young lady Blossom came into school with my daughter, one of her roommates. My daughter's been with her for 4 years, so it's great to see Megan do the job she's done. There she is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Comes a nose cheer. There you go.
It's a little tricky when you got your arm all taped up with ice and everything, right?
You always teach him you have to start to the left.
All right, so the new pitcher for NC State is going to be Michael Beeline. His 15th appearance of the season, a 5.83 ERA, 29 in the third innings, 46 hits, 10 walks, 26 strikeouts. And he will square off against Stephen Wells. Wells 1 for 3 today with a double back in the 4th. .94-mile-an-hour fastball strike for Beeline. Weak ground ball to the first base side.
Race.
I was going to say, yeah, you better get over there and cover that bag if you're Beeline, and he did. 1 down.
Go ahead.
I'm not. No.
Our producer told us, hey, you made a beeline to first base. Great call.
I'm not that tired yet to take the bait on something like that. 0-1 the count to J.C. Flowers. That ground ball stays fair. It's almost like a swinging bunt, and Flowers is retired by the catcher, Bailey. Again, heads-up play by the freshman catcher.
Exactly how you teach your catcher to go out, just like a bunt. You go out right to it. If it's more than 3 or 4 steps, field the ball, get a reverse spin, and make the throw to ball to first.
So 2 quick outs here for Florida State. And now Reese Albert at the plate.
Florida State just getting a piece of this guy's fastball.
Reese Albert got more than that. Ground ball through, and Albert picks up a base hit.
First pitch is he hit a beeline up the middle.
Jeez.
Laced this ball down. Hit it hard.
And now we'll see if Mike Salvatore can keep this thing going. Fastball over the outside part of the plate. It's 0-1 to Salvatore. 6 base hits this weekend for Salvatore.
Great approach. He's kept the ball middle part of the field, kept it down, kept it out of the air.
Seminoles not overly aggressive on the base paths. Salvatore actually the one that's been the most. 95-mile-an-hour heater above the zone. It's 1-1.
Mentioned his approach this weekend. Sometimes flip on the switch. You're not a power hitter. You've hit 1 home run. You have 7 doubles. Line drives, get on base. You're batting 9th. You're playing great shortstop. Get on base. Keep the inning going here with 2 out.
And he hits a lot of balls hard. Didn't catch all of that one.
Shows how good Michael Beeline is. Again, Florida State is tapping balls with such movement late.
Here's the 1-2.
Got eyes? Nope. Getting a piece of the breaking pitch.
There was a little room over there. Patera had to take a couple of steps to try to field it. But bounce foul. It remains 1-2 to Salvatore with Albert on at first after the base hit up the middle. Again, he'll foul another one off. Beeline throwing about as hard as we've seen anybody in this staff throw.
Salvatore 210 plus at bats, only 19 strikeouts. A tough out here.
One of the toughest in the country. There was a point where he was one of the top 10 toughest strikeouts in the country. And he wears that pitch up and in.
Shows how much movement. This Beeline's 10th batter he's hit this year.
7th time Salvatore has been hit by a pitch that's now 2nd on the team, behind only Stephen Wells with 8. Mendoza has also been hit by 7. There's several more with 6. Order turns over. Here's Rafael Bornegal. Again, has done just about everything at the plate this week aside from collecting a base hit. And that ball on the ground to the first base side. Well done by the first baseman, Evan Edwards. So Florida State running out of time. NC State will try to add to their 1-run lead when we come back. Top of the 9th inning here in Tallahassee. And as you can see on the scoreboard, a new pitcher has been brought in for Florida State. It is Austin Pollock. After the injury to Tyler Holton, had a handful of starts on Sundays. When Andrew Karp worked his way into the weekend rotation, got some midweek starts, had a tough luck loss at Stetson, pitched very well, but there were some errors in the infield behind him that sort of allowed a lot of unearned runs to come in. Stetson's turned out to be a heck of a team, oh, by the way. But the freshman from here in Tallahassee is going to try to close this thing out, at least get through the 9th, and then give his offense a chance with only being down 1 run to perhaps get themselves tied or for the 3rd straight day to walk it off in the bottom. This will be his 14th appearance. He's got a 5.62 ERA through 56 innings. He's given up 64 hits, walked 27, and struck out 48. And leading things off, it's going to be Brett Kinnaman. A home run back in the 4th, went oppo over the left field wall. He's also walked today, and he also grounded out back in the 2nd.
Could make a ball game.
Yeah, I was going to say, fastball outside corner. Good start there
Hit
from
with it. He caught the inside part of that ball. A lot of times you want to catch the outside. He took that ball completely away. It wasn't a strike, but got handcuffed a little bit.
And thanks to the efforts of Andrew Karp and Drew Parrish, Florida State able to go to the bullpen and bring in guys like an Austin Pollock for an inning here. They haven't had to go to him yet. I mean, when your starters go 7 2/3 and 8 innings on each of the last 2 days, it helps the cause quite a bit. Kinnaman got underneath it And it's going to fall right in front of Stephen Wells.
That's not what you want to happen with nobody out, the freshman on the mound. You get an out in right field. You lose a senior in the outfield, loses that ball in his son. In a ballpark you've been playing in for 4 years.
Sunglasses on the cap. And out comes Cal Raleigh and Mike Martin. This is going to be important here. You got to settle the freshman down. That should have been out number 1. Ruled officially as a double.
Pull out my marker.
Mm-hmm.
Put a square around that one. Not a circle, a square.
Just like that Cal Raleigh ground out back in the 5th. You got to put a square around that one, too, with the bases loaded.
Opportunity. Coach Martin went out, settled it one left-hander, and did his job. It's a team game.
Yep.
Played by individuals.
Still remember that Miami series when he went out there and told Jonas Scalaro, have fun. Back to work goes Pollock with strike 1.
Florida State's not even looking for Bailey here to bunt. Bailey with one sacrifice bunt all year. Defense is playing back. He's looking to drive the ball the other way to get the runner to third base with this situation.
1-1 the count now to the catcher.
Did his job.
Yep. Applin will step on the bag and apply the tag at first, but that will advance Kinnaman 90 feet away.
It's not how you work on it in batting practice. Gets a piece of it, drove the ball the other way, get the runner to third base. Now Florida State's got to cut this ball off in the infield. Cannot allow NC State to get another run here in the top of the 9th.
Got a good part of your lineup coming up in the bottom of the 9th. But if they start pouring on runs here in the top, you're going to start handcuffing yourself. Here's Evan Edwards. He had a home run back in the 2nd. Pollock working above the zone. It's 1-0. This is the last of the considerable power bats for NC State.
Ball bounced up. Might have got a Roddy up under his chin.
And out comes Brandon Stone.
Brandon Stone lettered on Thursday night's ball game.
Uh-huh.
Got a star on last night's ball game. Got up under his mask there. Normally the conversation, a guy like Cal Raleigh tells his trainer, get out of here. And that's what usually happens.
That ball sent deep out to left field. This is a chance for NC State to play to run. On comes Kinnaman. Throw's going to come in from Albert, but Kinnaman scores. No problem.
NC State taking advantage of Florida State's miscue in right field. With a leadoff, lost the ball in the sun double. Moved the runner to third. Fly ball deep to left field. Big run there. Things better than 1-run lead is a 2-run lead. Keeps you away from one guy tying it up.
Fastball away there from Stephen Patera.
Crowd gone quiet.
Mm-hmm. Got the second out on the board, but a run came across.
They've had a lot of emotion drained out of them in the last 3 baseball games.
On the ground and through the right side, Patera picks up his first base hit today.
Good job, good bat playing, taking the ball to the middle in and rolling over on it, pulling it through the right side.
Second hit of the weekend for Stephen Patera. Had the leadoff base hit on Thursday. It took all the way until the 9th here today on Saturday, but he's got another one. Here's the DH, Devontae Brown. Devontae Brown, a couple of ground outs and a strikeout. Heading the count here, 1-0. Fastball above the zone. The count goes 3-0 to the DH, Devontae Brown. That time, Pollock gets the call. 3-1.
Good pitch.
And Devontae Brown earns a walk. Runners now on first and second.
Made a pitch just a little bit in. Good spot. Just got it in a little bit. Cooper, the second baseman here.
Seen Dylan Cooper play at second after pinch hitters have come in for JT Jarrett. Really haven't seen him pinch hit so far today, or so far this weekend, really. Redshirt sophomore out of Raleigh, North Carolina, ahead in the count 1-0 on the inside fastball. Swing and a miss there. It's 1-1 to Cooper.
He's thrown the ball well. Austin Pollock's kept the ball down. Good movement. Unfortunately, that first batter and the ball was dropped, not caught in right field. This is extra batters he's facing.
Good pitch there.
Always try to take a plus from an appearance. This has been a plus appearance for Austin Pollock.
K-time chance back in the air. Pollock can get out of the threat here.
Trying to go with the bender there in a 1-2 count.
Cooper fouled it off himself, and the count remained 1-2. K-time chance back in the air from the Seminole faithful. Got him! Cooper's going to try to beat the throw down to first and will not. So the Seminoles do get through the top of the ninth, but after a miscue in right field, NC State extends the lead to 2. 7 hits apiece for the 4th-ranked NC State Wolfpack and the 12th-ranked Florida State Seminoles, but a miscue out and right allowed NC State to extend the lead to 2. The long ball has been their friend today early on, and now they'll try to see if Joe O'Donnell will be their best friend here trying to close this game out. He was brought in without the lead in hand on Thursday and gave up the game-winning home run from Stephen Wells. So here he is back again. And here's the thing that's interesting about Joe O'Donnell, Chip. You mentioned those 10 saves, and he came into this weekend with a sub-1 ERA. After giving up that home run, it's up to 1.09. 24 2/3 total innings, 14 hits, 8 walks, 34 strikeouts. Impressive numbers, absolutely. But I'm going to give a shout-out to the radio voice of the Seminoles baseball team, Eric Llewellyn here. He went on Twitter and he crunched the numbers. I mean, he travels with the team and everything. He's been to Raleigh. That was his 8th appearance against Florida State. 6 1/3 total combined innings. Gave up 15 hits in those innings. 17 earned runs. Struck out 10. Hit 6 batters. An overall ERA in those 6 1/3 innings of 24.07. Something's got to give here.
That's true. I think he might have shared it with the coaching staff. Coaching staff might have relayed that down as Jackson Luke leads off.
But a major tip of the cap to the man the fans affectionately call Lulu. The radio voice does a great job here and crunched the numbers a day ago. Glad to use him on the air.
Former football player at Florida State, was a student of mine when I taught classes here 30-plus years ago.
Jackson Luke will lead things off. It's ball 1. Working the fastball outside. Crowd not happy with it. But David Savage will say that it clipped the outside corner.
Patrick Bailey, the catcher for NC State, has been working a magician behind the plate, a freshman, making pitches look better than they are.
Sarcastic cheer from the crowd there. Well hit ball out to center field, but McLean has a bead on it and the glove under it. 1 down. So here's Rhett Applin.
Florida State has what they want with 3 left-handed hitters. With Lucas switcher, Applin left-hander, Raleigh a switcher. They get on Mendoza's up back in there as well. He's going through to meet the Florida State's left-handed hitters. Backup slider kind of backed up, but it got enough of the strike zone. Did not break much.
Applin behind the count, 0-1. Line drive snagged by Patera, 2 down.
Having the right man at the right spot. Applin's gone the other way a couple times today. Not quite that much, but a liner. See the senior third baseman out there, Patera, making that grab, brings up Raleigh, but 2 out.
Seminoles worked a little 2-out magic a couple of innings ago. If they're going to do it again here, it's going to have to start with Cal Raleigh. He had a home run back in the 4th. And he's lined out to the first baseman, Evan Edwards, and that will do it here in Tallahassee. What a job by the infielders for NC State, and they come away with a 5-3 win here in game number 3.
That's 6 pitches on a right-hander, but I tell you what, tremendous weekend for Florida State to get RPI wins. But if you go win 1 game in the series, win Sunday, win the last game of the series for momentum. Again, tremendous battle by NC State coming back.
NC State played for their pride, and they came in here and took a couple of shots to the chin, but they are the ones that get that win when all is said and done. Chip, it has been one heck of a season, a lot of fun. I think we saved our best series for last, but on to the postseason for Florida State.